Watch out!
Okay, so a lot's been going on, lots of news, lots of gaming news, so much so that I almost completely forgot to be excited for Pokemon Legends EA. I know, I'm crazy for that, but a lot of cool games and stuff have taken the spotlight. Like what's coming out for Switch 2, you know, if I can ever afford it. Expedition 33 just came out and has been so cool. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero got leaked for Switch 2, which speaks volumes to the Switch 2's power, and Marvel Rivals is getting a balance patch to help strategists be able to take care of themselves better. There's been a lot flooding the zone, okay? But today, I find it to be a great day to get back on the hype train for Pokemon, because we know another trailer for Legends EA is imminent. So with that, I want to talk about what we could see in the new trailer. Let's get started. Guys, something we're not talking about enough is that now the floodgates are open. Yeah, the Switch 2 version of ZA has finally been placed in front of our eyes. We caught a quick glimpse of it in the Switch 2 Direct, but that's all it was, a quick glimpse. Like 25 seconds or so if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't much, but it was enough to show us how much better the updated version will look and run. I should mention, before we move forward, in a previous video I made, myself and even other creators and entry-level developers were a bit fooled by the footage. In a recent video I mentioned that the Switch 2 version looked like it was using volumetric lighting and fog, but turns out we were wrong. I actually came across someone else's video recently, it was a developer talking, where they showed what volumetric lighting and fog would actually look like in the game, and while I can see why we thought it had already been implemented, it was clear after seeing that visual that it actually wasn't. So I want to apologize for accidentally helping spread some misinformation on that, but on the bright side, in that same video, the developer mentioned that volumetric lighting and fog could still be implemented between now and release. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for in that next trailer. Don't forget, when these trailers are made, they're usually made a couple months or so in advance, so footage we see is typically at least slightly outdated. It's definitely possible then to see more improvements moving forward. With Game Freak, obviously, I wouldn't hold our breaths though, but it's not impossible, especially considering Pokemon Legends Arceus trailers showed visual improvements from trailer to trailer. ZA could follow suit as it's the next Legends game. Either way, I do believe that moving forward, we're going to see Switch 2 footage for Pokemon Legends EA in its trailers. This will be to help simultaneously push sales for the Switch 2 and sales for the premium version of ZA. It makes a lot of sense from a marketing standpoint. But with that Switch 2 edition being shown off, we could also see some features and additional content that will be exclusive to the Switch 2 edition. Now, what those things could be is quite a large list that warrants its own video, but for now, we can let our speculation run a bit wild, and I'd actually love to see some comments below on what you guys think we could see. If you have an idea that none of us thought of, I might even give you a shout out for it when I make a video on that. So please, any thoughts you have, go ahead and comment them now. Now, as for additional details for the game that I think we'll finally see revealed, would be some very light story details, like real light. Remember, in Legends Arceus, we knew next to nothing about the story going in, except we're playing as a character new to the region who joins a team facing a crisis of rampaging Pokemon. We also get the names of a handful of characters we'd meet along the way, but aside from that, that was literally it. We had no idea about the timey-wimey stuff, we didn't know what role Arceus played in it, we didn't know who the villain was, nothing. So far with ZA, we already know about half of the kinds of things that we knew going into Arceus. We know we're a trainer visiting Lumio City. We know the names of a couple characters we'll meet. We know what kind of game-long program similar to the Galaxy team that we'll be a part of in ZA, that being the ZA Battle Royale. However, what we don't know is what sort of foil or serious matter we'll need to tend to. That's where this next trailer will come in. I believe we'll finally see the game's equivalent of hostile mini-bosses and bosses. In Legends Arceus, those were Alpha Pokemon and Noble Pokemon respectively. In ZA, it's hard to say what might replace Alphas, however we do know what will replace Nobles. Yeah, we'll finally get to set our eyes on Rogue Megas. These are essentially Alphas but Mega evolved. They'll probably be the proper boss fights in the game and will likely give us some alternative form of combat or platforming that we'll have to deal with separate from the Pokemon battles themselves. Just like how when fighting nobles in Legends Arceus, we had to dodge their attacks and throw bombs at them to wear them down, so that we could eventually spark a Pokemon battle in the first place. Now, supposedly, Alphas are also returning in ZA as the mini-bosses. I was skeptical about this until several people I know that do keep up with like the really accurate leaks came to the comment section and confirmed that this was true based on those reputable leaks. So my questions here that I hope will be answered in the trailer are twofold. One is, will they still be called Alphas? I doubt it, since they were named after Arceus being the Alpha Pokemon, and Arceus was a prominent character in Legends Arceus. And my other question is, if they are Alphas, what will set them apart visually? We already know that there's no size variation in ZA. Every Pokemon is scaled to the same size, and even large Pokemon have been shrunken down and kept to those smaller sizes. Probably to keep the combat consistent or something. God, I hate that explanation, but I'm pretty sure that's the one they have. If Alphas in ZA won't be larger, then maybe they'll have like a shadow aura around them or something, or Hoopa rings. I mean, I assume it'll have some sort of visual that stays even after we catch them though. Otherwise, what's the point in catching an Alpha over a normal Pokemon? I guess that makes 3 questions total, but either way, I'm hoping to get some answers for this in the new trailer. This whole ordeal is such a mystery to me. On the topic of those hostile foils being shown off in the trailer, I actually don't think we'll see much more about the story beyond that. Matter of fact, I don't think we'll see much more about the story until the game releases. We probably won't see who the villainous Pokemon is, we probably won't see why we team up with Zygarde, we probably won't even have any hints to what humans are hostile against us. These are all the plot twists that Game Freak will want us to experience fresh, just like we did with Pokemon Legends Arceus. And honestly, I'm all here for it, even if it's just for the endless reaction videos people will inevitably upload, like they had for the final boss in the post-game of Arceus. That was truly epic and one of the hardest battles in Pokemon history, so it was fun to see people play through it and get surprised every time. Something we might get to see more on though, has less to do with the story and more to do with gameplay. I think we might see more explanation on the mobility options for our trainer. Currently, we've seen clips of our player hopping from building to building with the Rotom phone, but no explanation has been given about it, and I'm highly doubtful that this is the only mobility option we'll have. We've also seen a dodge roll with no explanation on why we would need it, since we don't know if our character even has a health bar yet. In the next trailer for Legends EA, we will probably be enlightened on what that dodge roll is good for, what happens when our player character gets hit by wild Pokemon, all the ways we can use the Rotom phone to parkour around the city, and if or how we can use Pokemon to traverse the city. I do think I have a good guess as to what happens if the wild Pokemon hit us. I don't think our player has a health bar, but I do think getting hit will spark a battle and give the wild Pokemon a first hit advantage in the fight, just like we can do to trainers and their Pokemon by sneaking up on them. The dodge roll will be useful in evading attacks and allowing first hit advantage to the wild Pokemon. As for the other gameplay aspects, the speculation is endless, so let's take that conversation to the comments as well. Afterwards, check out more of my videos like this one here where I discuss some recent Pokemon Legends EA leaks in detail. The links are right in front of you or in the pinned comment. If you'd like to support me and have your name featured at the end of all of my videos, please join my Patreon with the link in front of you or in the description. Or become a channel member right here on YouTube. I've been johtojonny, and I will catch you all there.